Welcome, friends. I thought I'd share with you a little hunting trip I had here in the mountains, my yearly outing of camping and exploring and hunting here in Union County, Tennessee. And you can see here I pull off of Highway 33 into Sharp's Chapel. Beautiful old country here. And this is Chuck Swan. You could see it between Clinch and Powell River, the peninsula you used to call it. A lot of country here. A lot of country. And we set up here camp. And there ain't nobody hardly here at first with us. But by the time it gets hunting day, the day before, you could see there's two campgrounds. And this campground alone, I counted 30 campers. This place is full of them. There's 650 hunters here. And we always build a safari after we got set up and just relax. Don't care if it's day or night. But it gets dark, we just relax. Talk about what's going on and where we're going to go. And oh yeah, sit here drinking a cup of coffee out of my Dirty Dan cup. Next morning, looking out of the camp here, you can see the Rangers forestry training facilities they got up here. But I don't know what you need to do to be trained to clear cut. Don't make sense. But we hit the roads back here in Chuck Swan, past the ranger station. And you could travel all day on these roads. There's so much country back in here. So much history still hidden that I want to see. And we like to look at the views. This is looking north. You can see Cumberland Mountain in the distance. Powell River below us. And I enjoy the scenery. Beautiful, vast country. And we come across these fields looking for places to hunt. Here's a field we found I'd never been to. This one is over a half a mile long. It don't look that way on the camera here, but it is. It's so vast. And we try to find us some hunting places. And we go down these old mountain ridges. Ain't they beautiful this time of year? Beautiful country. So much to see. And we try to find these old places. And we pull off. We've got a couple of places I've hunted over the years. Some produce, some don't. And we look for deer signs. And we find some. There's some scrapes. Deer scrapes. Buck rubs. And they seem to be awful fresh. And we'll find us a place to set up where they come out of thickets, where they're feeding, where there's some acres for them to eat on. And we'll set up our tree stands and find us another place for a backup. But this is the kind of country we've been hunting here in this ridge. Old logged out thickets. But out of that, my buddy don't care much about it, but I do. We hit these roads again. I'm going exploring. And I find old stuff like this. This is an old school foundation that I've looked up in books, history. Long holler schoolhouse. Before TVA took the land and the lake. A lot of people here in this old country that's being forgotten. And I love to find stuff like this. Some of my buddies let me in on this one here. An old chimney from an old cabin long ago before the lake. The history here. And I scratched around here around this old chimney and found this. This thing weighed over 10 pounds, I bet you. It's an old battery radio, best I could make of it. Couldn't find no markings on it, and the face was gone. Just an old battery, chargeable battery radio. And you can see here, you notice the radio, you can see the tuner there in it. How old's that? Back in the 20s? Early 30s? Times long ago. How many things has been cooked in that old chimney? And not far away, in the woods, here's an old cab. Looks like an old Ford. Old Model T, it looks like to me. I don't know if it's a cab off of a truck or an old car. Just sitting there, being forgotten, lost in time. Next morning, we up in this line. Gates open at 5:30 and usually lined up a half a mile. And it's like a blast off, like in a bass tournament, I call it. And we head on up in here. Everybody's going where they want to go hunting. Who can get there first? But it don't matter. People's beat me many a times. I just go off to the side somewhere. But I love to do this stuff. And I get in the woods here before daylight and set up. And I'm sitting on the ground this time. Just listening to nature, waiting for it to get daylight. And just before daylight, I heard something running down, prancing down right on me. It would almost run over me, run within 5 foot of me, stopped suddenly, turned 180 degrees and came back where it came from. All I could see was the white of its tail. And it was a little old doe, I think. And it run back across that ridge, and for 20 minutes it snorted all around that ridge. Well, I know I was busted, and it warned all the other ones too. But here's the kind of place I was hunting. So peaceful, watching the little squirrels play, and them squirrels will bark and give them deer away too. So you have to be watch. But I knowed I was busted in this area. Run right over top of me. So relaxing. But I knowed I was busted. They on to me here. So up in the middle of the day, I sit here till about 4 or 5 hours out of daylight. And I thought I'd ease around, find me a better place for this evening. But you can't ease through these woods. It's like crunching on cereal. We hunt all day and all day the next day too. And I seen a deer the next day. But all I seen was the rear end of it going through a thicket. So there's my deer hunt. But they was a few that seen some deer. But I just don't seem to be lucky to find one with antlers. And at the end of the hunt, 2-day hunt, the first day 23 was killed, the second day 9 was killed, and there was a total of 32 killed here. And that's pretty good, better than it normally has. We've had good weather the first time in many a years here. But there's the Chuck Swan hunt. And I happened to be here when some was checking in. This is a 6-point. You can't see it here, the picture I took. Some of them are really small deer, but there's some nice ones in here, I'm telling you. This is one that we hunted for 2 days and never seen again, just before scouting, just before we hunted. Ain't that a monster? So I know there's some monster deers in here, but they're not dumb, I'm telling you, when they get a little age on them. But I got to meet a lot of good friends here that watch the channel. And we talked, had a good time, and I appreciate every one of them. They said they watched the channel and enjoyed the video. Good people. And one of the groups here, right there, got a good, nice 6-pointer. That's a nice deer. But I wasn't that lucky. But it's just a hunt. Ain't that nice? And the sun goes down on another hunt. You don't have to worry about it. Our hunt's over. And we just sit around, relax, eat us some dinner. Get a good old fire going. And some of the guys come over. And we just like to sit around and tell stories and aggravate each other.
Stuff and that gives them away that they're in the area and stuff. So, but what was that story you were telling me about the other, what was it, yesterday or something, about that 5-pointer you shot that was, what was it, 350 yards?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was
He was standing next to a tree taking a leak and shot it with one hand, 300 yards. It was full sprint across the field.
With one eye.
Yeah. It was, I mapped that. It was about 270 yards on Google Maps.
I was there.
There you go. We sit around for hours, just telling stories, hunting trips, old times. And it is a good old time. And I'm lucky to get out in these old woods no more. My health ain't like it used to be. So I hope you enjoy these little old trips out in the mountains. I love to show them to you, and I'm glad you like to watch them. So take care out there. God bless, and I'll see you next time.